It's SEC women's basketball today from Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. The 19th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, fresh off an upset of UConn, jump back into league play to host the Auburn Tigers. And hello everyone, Brett Dolan with the coach Matt Zimmerman. Delighted to have you with us. And Z, this game features two players who we're going to see in the WNBA. And Arkansas's Chelsea Dungy also making a run at the SEC Player of the Year.
Well, she's had an outstanding career at Arkansas, and she is just a scoring machine. We know she sets everything up with her drives. She's got the best left hand in college basketball. She scores in different ways. She's a great shooter as well, so you have to get out on her, and she lives at the free throw line. She shot 142 free throws already this season. There's teams that don't have that many free throws. She is a great scorer.
But Unique Thompson, she missed a few games for Auburn, but this lady is a double-double machine.
Well, she can really fly to that glass. She's a great rebounder. She's got a soft touch. She gets misses off from her teammates' misses. She'll grab her own miss and stick it back. You've got to put a body on her. She is an outstanding rebounder.
52 double-doubles in her career, and there's your head-to-head comparison. And Dungy averaging 22.5 points a game, but also about Chelsea, Z. She scored 20-plus in every conference game this season.
How about that? That's an amazing stat. And everyone's guarding her. A lot of people are sagging more people off of other players now to try to provide help because you know she's putting it on the deck and driving, and she still scores. And if the game's called tight by any officials, she's going to shoot 12, 14, 16 free throws. And she has her career high was against this Auburn team 2 years ago on a Sunday afternoon. She lit them up in here for 41 points. Outstanding ball game.
Our officials, Brian Garland, Karen Prieto, and Eric Baker, and we're underway. And maybe the true test, Matt, for this Arkansas team, what type of energy do they play with after that emotional win against UConn back on Thursday?
Well, one of two things are going to happen. You know, they're going to come out because they're going to hear everyone saying, hey, it might be a letdown, so they'll come out ready to go 100 miles an hour. Or they could come in, like you said, maybe be a little sluggish coming off that high. Auburn turnover right off the bat.
This is an Auburn team that likes to get turnovers. You see the pressure as you also see the 5 Arkansas starters, and that's a backcourt violation. And for a team who only turns the ball over 10 times a game, second fewest in the country, that's what Auburn wants to do.
Yeah, Chelsea right there turned the ball over, passing it back to Michaela Daniels. And Chelsea got, I think, 36 turnovers on the year, does a pretty good job. She's an excellent ball handler, got excellent ball skills. But you know Auburn's going to press, so you got to take care of the ball.
There's your Auburn starting 5. Honesty Scott Grayson, one of those that the Tigers will need for some points. And there's Patton to provide the first 2 of the game.
Honesty Scott Grayson was outstanding in their last game against Texas A&M. She's not a great shooter, about 28% from the 3. She made 4 of them. Auburn forces another turnover with their trap.
Again, the second fewest turnovers in the nation for an Arkansas team that has not taken a shot and had 2 turnovers for Coach Neighbors.
Got to try to look to pass it over the top of that zone, and the Razorbacks will figure it out. Just here early, and Auburn, not a lot of teams press anymore, and Auburn gets out. Coach Flo, she's known for defense. She's known for pressing. They're going to get out and try to make you have those unforced turnovers.
This is not a good three-point shooting team, one of the worst in the country. Thompson almost got that rebound, but Slocum can't save. It'll stay Tigers ball.
Well, Auburn plays very hard. They're a team that has been getting close. Brett, they've been so close in some of these games. They played very well against Texas A&M for 3 quarters and just couldn't hang in there with Gary Blair's team in the 4th. But they're fighting, and they're trying to get a win in the SEC.
Felt like they just ran out of gas against a good A&M team at home a couple of nights ago. Probably didn't help that A&M shot 83% in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that helps any offense, and Texas A&M's got it too. One of the really good games in college this season was right here, Texas A&M in Bud Walton Arena, and Arkansas played very well in that game, but unfortunately for the Razorbacks couldn't get the win. But that was a very competitive, very spirited ball game.
This is an Arkansas team that is going to see some zone, and they are going to love to see that if they're hitting their shots. There is a miss and a rebound to Levy.
Every time Amber Ramirez shoots at Brett, it looks like it's going in. And she was outstanding against UConn. 5 of 10 from the 3. She lit them up. She was so good. Now the turnovers are starting to come for Auburn. And if you're Auburn, you can't trade turnovers with the Razorbacks because you know some threes are on the way, right? You know Arkansas is going to hit some threes, so you got to get some buckets when you can.
There's the pressure defense again. Arkansas will break and attack. Chelsea Dungy, 5 of 6 on 3-pointers against UConn, but a miss. And Levy will clear.
I know Coach Neighbors is not unhappy with either one of those last two. When you got Amber shooting it, you're happy. You got Chelsea Dungy shooting it, you're happy. Because those two can really. Now Chelsea surprisingly only shoots 43%, but she scores so many different ways. I bet Coach Neighbors wouldn't care if she shot 35%. He would be happy with it because she gets to the free throw line. She makes their offense click. She's really tough to guard.
It's fun to see Mike with that mask on because I think he's been on every radio interview, every TV station in the country the last couple of days, including Feinbaum. There's a rebound from Ramirez. But worth repeating, Neighbors said the other day, we're going to see a zone defense for maybe the first time this year. But the problem is Arkansas has been harassed just to get into that half-court set.
Yeah, they do a good. Auburn does a good job in their press, and they get after folks, and they're aggressive. And, you know, great shooting teams like the Razorbacks don't get zoned very often, and every once in a while it can kind of be different for a shooter.
Tell you what, you give Amber Ramirez that type of open look, she's going to knock them down after 5 triples the other day against the Huskies.
Yeah, the Razorbacks drug somewhat up across the top. Amber slid in behind, wide open. She's already gotten one clean look, missed it. She's not going to miss 2. That wide open, a great shooter. That'll open that zone up.
Long 2 from Patton off the mark. And again, this is an Auburn team that shoots about 38% from the field.
Where Auburn has struggled so far this season has really been from the three-point line. They've not shot threes very well.
Looks like a foul on Taylor Thomas. She's a bit bewildered, but she got her money's worth coming in to try and grab that offensive board.
If you beat UConn, most everybody on your team probably played well, so don't want to repeat this all day, but Taylor Thomas was outstanding also in the game against UConn. Her defense, she was a handful. She was drawing fouls. She was playing good defense. She was sliding her feet, contested shots. She was a huge part of that win on Thursday.
Yeah, Arkansas was plus 17, meaning they outscored UConn by 17 when she was in the game.
How about that, plus 17? That's something she'll always have in her back pocket. You know, hey, when I was on the floor against UConn, we were plus 17, and I made a big difference. I made a positive impact. She's had a really good career at Arkansas, young lady from the Dallas area, and she's great attitude, works hard, and coaches just rave about her and how she does things.
Another turnover intercepted by Auburn, and a basket on the drive from Lowry.
Much better press attack there. Didn't even need to make a pass. Michaela Daniels is an outstanding ball handler. She just attacked it fast. They never really got the zone press set up there. They fall back into their zone D.
Daniels on the drive, went with the left hand, and there's a rebound for Unique Thompson. Again, second in the country in rebounds per game. This is a player Auburn needs to get going. Scott Grayson. Wells runs down the long rebound. Another rebound for Unique Thompson, an offensive board she can't hit. She thought she was fouled, no whistle.
Crazy thing about Unique, 13.6 rebounds a game. You just don't see that on the stat sheet very often. There's Chelsea going what she loves to do. She can go right, she can go left. But when she's going to that basket, positive things happen, and it also sets up a lot of action for her teammates.
And that's an offensive foul. Dungy took the charge on Sanaya Wells.
Well, she did a great job getting over there and getting set, but once she got hit, she wasn't real natural at falling down. And we've seen her draw charges before, but she was a little bit, stiff with the fall down. But watch right there, boom, there's the hit, and then she kind of stayed up for a second.
Slow motion.
She got a little hesitation there on the fallback. Here's the 2-2-1 press.
Still doesn't feel like the Razorbacks real comfortable against that pressure yet as Davis will drive. So athletic, Marquisha Davis, her first basket.
That's where Auburn has struggled when people have got in the half court. They've been able to beat Auburn off the dribble some, and that's something they'll have to really work today with all these Arkansas players that can drive it.
Well, Unique Thompson, she cannot be allowed to catch in that spot. That's an easy 2 for the senior.
Averages a little less than 18 points a game. Had 18 her last game against A&M.
And there's another rebound for Thompson, averaging almost 14 of those a game.
Be interesting to see, does she get to that 14 number today? That's been her in the league. Her rebounding is only at 10, Brett. So the league has done a pretty good job. They play her every year. They see her. They get used to it.
And that's a nice drive from Aisha Kulabali.
She checks in the ball game coming in, says, hey, I'm going to come in and provide some offense.
She went for 12 and 5 against LSU earlier this season. Timeout on the floor. These teams are kind of feeling each other out. A lot of turnovers, but Arkansas hoping to hit some threes. That's Amber Ramirez with the triple. And you see what Chelsea Dungy did, 37 points in the game. Certainly that was a number that UConn doesn't give up, if ever. And the 90 points Arkansas scored was the most UConn had allowed in any game since the Final Four in 2001. And that third quarter was off the charts.
Great offensive team. We've known that. And then to do it against UConn, and 20 years since UConn's allowed those kind of points. What a day for Razorback basketball, for everyone that loves Razorback women's basketball, for Razorback Nation. There was people that I know that don't even follow women's basketball that much that were texting me, calling me, and bragging about how great the Arkansas played in that ball game. A lot of pride throughout the state of Arkansas, and that helps the SEC, and it does wonders for this Arkansas women's basketball program. One of the top wins in school history. It is the greatest non-conference win for sure for the women, and it's probably the greatest regular season win in Razorback women's basketball history.
And worth repeating, that wasn't even on the schedule until a few days out because Arkansas lost a game with Vanderbilt. There's Slocum from the corner, Levy the rebound. But even working into this week, I think there was the thought as Levy will dial up at three, and that's a rare hit for an Auburn team that struggles from behind the arc.
Yeah, Levy's, shoots it at a little bit, about 24% from the three, kind of struggles, but she was open there, got her feet set, and knocked it down.
But again, after that emotional win, you've got to turn around. You get that 24-hour rule from Mike Neighbors, and you've got to gear it up against a team that's 0-7 in league play, but is playing better. They're at full strength, and all of a sudden it's an 11-7 game late in the first quarter.
Yeah, and the Razorbacks will get going. They always have that quarter where they just get hot. It'll start with Dungy driving to the basket and getting fouled. Then the next thing you know, they'll kick it out, and Markeisha Daniels will hit she'll hit a shot. Michaela Daniels will hit a shot, or Markeisha Davis will hit a shot. We know Amber Ramirez. That's how they get going. They feed off of each other. Destiny Slocum. Just a lot of offensive weapons.
Here's the young lady, Romy Levy, out of Israel. What a transition that must be from Israel to Auburn. But see, you'll appreciate this. She had to complete a year of military service before she could come to Auburn.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. I spent 5 years active duty, and anybody that serves in any military, I sure appreciate that. And that probably really did a lot for that young lady. And hats off to her for doing that for her country.
Davis shuffled the feet, then had her pass to Barnum, knocked it out of bounds. There's a young lady, though. She struggled with COVID. It was a lot of questions to our coaches. What do you mean the gym shut down? What do you mean I can't work out? What any young kid would do, but especially those that have come from overseas during that crazy time.
It's a very difficult time, and a lot of people have had a good pass right there. Jalen Mason comes in, had missed the ball game on Thursday, comes off the bench here, makes a great play, good pass, unselfish bucket right there.
Yeah, that's worth repeating. Mason is back. She was not in uniform against UConn. When Arkansas took the court against the Huskies, everybody thought, where's the rest of the team? Why are they missing so many with contact tracing? But see, at this day and age, it's good to get them back. And this is an Auburn team that knows all about contact tracing.
Yeah, Coach Flo talked about that with us, and they have really had their battles and issues dealing with the virus. And they're still playing. They could have. There's teams that have not kept playing. And Auburn, through all the stuff they've been through, they're here today and they're playing. You always appreciate that.
I take my hats off to those that have struggled but are still out there grinding, trying to pick up wins, maybe more than the teams that are winning games right now.
For sure, because it's tough as a coach to go out there and play when you don't have all your good players. You don't have all your players available, and Auburn's had a lot of games like that this season.
How about Levy? She hit the three-pointer, got a free throw, and then a tough turnaround.
She was guarded pretty well right there. Great shot by her, a turnaround, and a very confident shot. She's made 2 baskets here, and she's really looking good for Auburn here early on.
See the Tigers extending this zone defense. Mason misses from the corner. Annie Hughes into the game, took the floor rebound. Levy couldn't catch that pass, and Mason able to intercept.
You're Auburn right there. You got a 5-point lead. You're playing a great team. You got to really take care of the basketball. Make sure you get a shot up to the rim.
Miss from Dungy.
Dungy's going to make that most times. She came off the screen. Good screen by Barnum, who's a good screener. And she came off and got a clean look. Chelsea Dungy's going to make most of those.
Tigers a 5-point lead in the basketball. Scott Grayson has not scored. Thompson just 2, so Auburn getting a few other players involved. Patton with the blow-by. And can't finish.
Really good drive by Patton. She put it on the deck, went right. Markeisha Davis is a good defensive player. Blew right by her. Went right by her, but couldn't finish it.
Arkansas shooting 31% today. They were at 52% against UConn on Thursday. Slocum well behind the arc.
Well, it's unusual to see Arkansas, such a high-scoring basketball team. You know, you got 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Got 9 points. That is very surprising, and give Auburn credit. They're trying to guard them, and they're getting defensive rebounds.
And a foul by Barnum. She tried to knock that ball away from Hughes about 35 feet from the basket, but picks up the personal instead.
Yeah, and I credit these officials. There's only been 6 in almost 10 minutes of action here, only 6 whistles. Auburn's only got 2 fouls, and Coach Neighbors will probably talk about that a little bit with his team. I bet he's going to tell them at the end of this quarter, hey, we're going to start driving this thing a little more. We're going to make Auburn have to foul us a little bit, because we know that the Razorbacks shoot a whole lot of free throws. This is a team that shoots 73%. That's outstanding. And when you have someone like Dungy up there who's going to make almost 80%, it's surprising when she misses. That's when you got to be driving it, attacking. Give Auburn credit. So far, they've not allowed a whole lot of that.
See how much of the shot clock they want to use. That's a tough pass. And that ball hung on the iron from Scott Grayson, but would not fall.
Honesty, Scott Grayson right here cuts back door. Boom, she beats Daniels. And Daniels had to foul her, and that ball bounced on that rim 3 or 4 times and almost fell in, but give her credit. I mentioned it earlier. She played very well in their game against Texas A&M. Coach Gary Blair's teams always play good defense and are physical, and she had a very good game against them. And a young lady from New Jersey, and she's an important player for Auburn.
Yeah, the Baylor transfer sat out a year ago. 21 against A&M. That's her first point tonight. Hey, it's also good news this Auburn team is getting to the line. In their last 2 games combined, they shot 16 free throws. We've seen Dungy herself shoot more than that in a game, but a couple of hits from Grayson. Arkansas could really use a basket to finish off this first quarter. Instead, another takeaway, another turnover, and are they going to count the basket or not?
You know, and you know what? And these officials have done a good job. Just bragged on them, right? Right there, that's punishing the offensive player. You know, right there, I'm counting that basket.
I agree.
And you're punishing that offensive player for playing good defense, getting a steal. It was an obvious foul by Michaela Daniels. Don't bail out the defense. Don't bail out the team that made the error. That official should have counted that basket and let this young lady go for an and one. So you see that in college basketball. They're rewarded defense when they shouldn't. They should reward the offense because they got fouled.
That's why you see different rules in the NBA.
Sure, the NBA and the WNBA, obviously that ain't even an option. That's an and one. She could have fouled 8 feet further back, and they're still going to count it.
How about the Auburn Tigers coming out in this first quarter?
Here they're odd front in their little zone press here, still trying to trap.
Ramirez loves that corner 3, rushed it a bit. And see, what about that first quarter from Auburn?
Well, if you're Coach Flo, you're very happy with your effort. You're happy with your defense. This is one of the top scoring teams in college basketball, and you come in here in a quarter, hold them to 9 points.
This explains the challenges, the pivoting needed for this Auburn team this year. Here's the games missed. Not all of these are COVID and contact tracing, but see, a lot of those are, as Auburn's missed some games. They've been shorthanded. This is really one of the first times all year they've had the full complement of players. And it isn't just having players miss games. They're not able to practice. They're not able to be in their rotation. They're not able to do anything. And it makes trying to coach these teams so difficult.
Credit coaches around the country for having to deal with this. You know, this is, you know, almost 30 ball games or whatever that they've missed with the COVID. And as you said, the practices is probably 100 to 150 practices when you combine. That's 8 young ladies that did not get to stay on the floor. And it's not like they're missing one day. They're missing day after day after day. They're not being there. You know, how do you get your team ready? How do you, as a coach, prepare when you don't have key pieces? You know, Coach Neighbors the other day had, right before the game, you know, on Thursday morning, they find out we're not going to have Jalen Mason. We're not going to have Destiny Oberg, some of the other young ladies that are normally there. And you have to, you know, regroup quickly, and you got to move on. That's what I credit, you know, Coach Flo so much this year. They're playing, they're fighting, and they're out here. There's been teams that have opted out. They have not.
Dungy trying to get going. There's the drive. That's what she loves to do, drive and use that left hand.
Yeah, she's the best in college basketball at using her left hand. She's a driving machine. Coach Neighbors probably told them in that break, we're going to start driving this basketball, make Auburn play better defense, and we're going to put more pressure on their defense, and that's what happened the very first possession.
Another offensive rebound from Unique Thompson. She couldn't coax it in, but she'll go back to the line.
You got to push her out of there as best you can. She's really got a knack for the basketball. You know, she's got her hand and her wrist taped up there pretty strong today, and so it'll be interesting to see how she does on these free pitches with so bandaged up. And sometimes for a shooter, when you start messing with fingers, wrist, you know, a lot can impact the shot.
Mike Neighbors said it the other day, with a player like Thompson, you can't just make contact with her to box out. You have to maintain contact because she has a knack of getting those rebounds.
Yeah, she really does, and she, you know, give her credit. She comes out, she brings it every game for them, and she plays with her heart, and that's you love the fact that you just don't see too many people averaging that kind of rebounds. There she fouls. Be nice to get her in foul trouble and sit her on the bench. But, you know, for Arkansas, that is, you want to be able to attack her as much as you can. But we asked Coach Flo when we talked to her yesterday, what's it like? I know I coached 25 years, never had anybody average 14 rebounds a game. What's that like? And she really bragged on that young lady and what she's brought to their program. And man, that's something else. She has 23 rebounds, Brett, twice in games. Houston, I think, and maybe Belmont. 23 rebounds twice in 2 different games, and that's outstanding.
There are times Auburn's had a lot of shots to go miss, but she just has that ability. Grab those rebounds as she does, and Dungy came up empty on that trip.
Chelsea doesn't go for 2 very often. I would say probably 5 or less times in her career at Arkansas. She shoots a ton of free throws, and she's not going to miss very many, and if she does, she might miss 1 on occasion, not both.
Levy almost banked that in. You know, back to Auburn in the missed games. See, when they had a trip to Florida not that long ago, they had 8 scholarship players. They left the day of game to get 2 players back. Those that came back hadn't practiced in 2 weeks. As Slocum can't hit. Those are, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, they changed their travel because if they left the day before, as you normally do,
they'd have 6.
They'd only had 6 players. So we've got to move our travel to the next day so that we can get some more young ladies, you know, available because of the COVID rules. And so, man, they have been through a lot. As you know, all teams have been through something, and they have been through more than their share. So that's a tough situation.
Auburn starts to hit a couple of threes. This game will change different complexions. There's Thompson, another rebound and a putback.
Yeah, see, Chelsea stayed on the other side there. Chelsea's a good defender. She watched. Once Thomas got out of the battle right there, Chelsea's got to come up and wall up right there and play a little bit tighter to her. She can't just give up that layup.
There's the look of frustration from Mike Neighbors. 6 turnovers by the Razorbacks, 11 points. I don't think I've seen them play this poorly through a quarter plus this season.
And give Auburn credit. They've frustrated. And the Razorbacks are doing pretty good in their offense, getting some clean looks. Probably just need to drive it a little bit more, and they will be able to get their offense clicking. You know how this offense is. They start hitting threes. It's just usually 3 after 3 after 3.
Thompson starting to feel it, requesting that ball. This is what she's added to her game, that mid-range shot. That one wouldn't stay down. And I believe they're going to say it remains Auburn basketball. Looked like Patton may have been the last to touch. Mike Neighbors up, voicing his displeasure.
Well, the Razorbacks are pretty fortunate right now. Auburn, here's this right here. See, they come up. Oh, the out-of-bounds play there. They're pretty fortunate. Auburn's not shooting a very good percentage themselves, and so the Razorbacks are, have given up some open threes that Auburn hadn't made. We talked about Auburn don't shoot that great. Tough shot right there. They're building a little bit of a lead.
13-point lead for the Tigers. You're talking about a team in Auburn 13th in the conference in points per game. Arkansas is first.
Arkansas scores 86 points a game in the SEC. Right now the Razorbacks are 2-5. Score 77 points a game in the league, but 86 throughout the year. Auburn in the league only scores 56 points a game.
See who could step up. Slocum. Nice kick to Mason. And she'll bury the dribble.
Dribble drive off a penetration right there. Good job. Destiny Slocum made that play. She hit her right in the shooting pocket. Jalen Mason just catch it, square up. Coming off the bench, buries a three. That helps, and there's a walk. Razorbacks now try to get a little momentum. You got all day left in this game. Right there, penetrate, hit her right in the shooting pocket. Look at there. She has had to line it up. She shot that shot a million times in her life. She squares up, knocks it down. I love to say Jalen Mason from Mason, Ohio.
Hey, she's just happy you're saying anything, that she's out there and playing and not stuck in an apartment. Rebound by Thompson.
That's okay. She makes a good job right there. Thomas does. Makes a good quick move. She doesn't do that a lot. She made a good quick move right there. Just couldn't like the layup to go.
Tell you what, Auburn's showing off some speed. There wasn't a finish, though, by Rice. They've missed a couple of those
They really
drives.
have. Their shooting percentage is going down, and that's allowing Arkansas to stay close right here, because you know that big run from Arkansas is coming. That barrage of threes is coming. So if you're Auburn, you've got to get you a little cushion right here. Can't miss layups.
Thompson draws the double.
Double team.
She shuffled the feet. She did.
Ramirez came over from the weak side, away from the ball.
Taylor just got lost here.
Yep. Did a good job with her footwork there. She didn't want to try to finish it with a layup. She just made a big step, crossed through to the other side of the basket. Taylor Thomas, good layup, and Arkansas's got a little momentum.
Timeout on the floor. Auburn had the great first quarter. Arkansas trying to climb back into this conference game here at Bud Walton. Wednesday on the SEC Network and ESPN app, we have a basketball doubleheader. Starts at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central in Gainesville, with South Carolina squaring off against the 9-4 Florida Gators, who've won 3 straight, followed by Vandy, coming off their first conference win, taking on Texas A&M in College Station. Talked a lot about Chelsea Dungy, what she did 2 years ago, Z, against Auburn, a 41-point game, a career high. Coach Flo said, hey, we tried everything. Box in one zone, it didn't matter. Dungy had a career night.
I remember coming over here and watching that game, and they were outstanding. I had a relative on the Arkansas team, Bailey Zimmerman, and it was in that ball game. It was a Sunday afternoon, and Chelsea just had it clicking. But you know what? Auburn played outstanding, although they gave up 41. Auburn got the victory, and was a really hard-fought ball game. Chelsea was outstanding, but Auburn came in, shot decent percentage, forced some turnovers, and walked out of here with a big win for their program.
They certainly did. In fact, Auburn's won the last 2 times they've been at Fayetteville. These teams did meet last March in the postseason in the conference tournament, where Arkansas made 17 three-pointers. They'd love to begin to climb that number up today, and there's Amber Ramirez.
Right there, they stretched it out, and then they rolled the girl across the top again, and then Ramirez followed, wide open. There was the person in the zone is going with the basketball. There's nobody as the ball's reversed back. Great job by Arkansas there in that play and getting a wide open shot.
Scott Grayson starting to have a big game scoring-wise, not that time, and Barnum had the rebound briefly, but there was a tie-up called.
Yeah, Thomas got in there. So right here, she Jalen dribbles across the top. So their defender goes with Jalen. They bring Amber Ramirez behind her. They bring the pass back. She's wide open in the down forward that's on that zone defense. She's got to come up quick. She couldn't get there. That's happened twice. That's 6 points Arkansas's got off of that type of action.
There's Patton on the drive, her second field goal. Young lady scored more than 1,000 points in a couple of years in junior college basketball.
She's active on their press, and she's got pretty good hands.
See if Arkansas is beginning to feel it. They hit one, but they can't start to string those together, at least not yet.
Yeah, not yet. That was back of the rim. That means it's really, really close to going in.
Thompson with the catch again. A good spot on the floor, but she can't hit. Levy, another offensive rebound for Thompson. Hey, Amber Ramirez got back to disrupt.
Hey, good job by Amber getting in there, and Thompson's got to keep playing. She got refereeing right there, and they're not going to stop the game for you to referee. You know what happened? The first time she got the ball, she should have scored it, and she didn't finish. And so then they get the offensive rebound. They don't score it. She gets it again. Maya got fouled, no call, but she was frustrated. She should be frustrated. She missed the first one. You got to make that first shot. She had a good, clean look at it.
It's about a 4-point swing. Did she travel to feed again or shuffle up?
Travel.
Tell you what, when your bigs can run the floor, you got to reward them.
Taylor Thomas is a good athlete. She plays hard, and she can get a major impact on a game just by running the floor hard the whole contest.
That's the shot that Destiny Slocum brings, that 15 to 17-foot jump shot.
Yeah, and that's the one we've talked about previously. You know, Coach Neighbors, he's going to take points anyway and get them, but they preached layups, three-point shots, and free throws. That's been their MO. You talked to Todd Schaefer, but she's a great pull-up jumper, and she's shown that since she's gotten here to Arkansas. She loves to go off the dribble and pull up.
Another rebound for Thompson. Feels like when she brings that ball down, she's moving into pressure. Auburn still throwing them up, but not falling.
Yeah, and you know, I appreciate the officials are letting them play, and it's getting a little bit interesting inside the paint.
There's the line drive three from Mason from the corner, and Jalen's hit a couple of triples in their return to the lineup.
Yeah, and the lead's gone, and Auburn had opportunities to build that lead, and they just missed too many layups. They had some open threes. They couldn't get them to go down, and unfortunately for them, now they're going to be scrambling because Arkansas's got their legs under them.
That switch has been flipped a bit here the last couple of minutes.
You can see there's more of a flow to Arkansas's offense. Here they slow it down, though. Going to try to run a little set play. Slocum was coming in the screen and then decided not to, so it's just a one-on-one action.
Thomas with the offensive rebound and a reset to 20 for Arkansas. 15-2 run by the Hogs. Auburn finished the first quarter with a 14-2 run. Ramirez says, well, if I'm that open, I might as well take that jump shot.
Yeah, and right there in the zone, if you can find, there's always an opening on a zone. Sometimes it's in a corner. Sometimes it's on a wing right there. It was way too close to the basket that time. Amber Ramirez found the open spot. She's too good of a shooter to leave open. And Arkansas is on a 17-2 run in this ballgame.
Coach Flo had to spend a timeout. Her team has seen Arkansas jump in front, but it feels like Unique Thompson's still been able to have her way, Z, down in the paint.
Yeah, she's gotten some rebounds, but she just hadn't been able to do a lot of damage with them because she's not been able to score them. Arkansas walls her up pretty good, and she's snatching rebounds. See, this is the one right there. Well, she got called. She did get the call on that one, but they've had some open looks they hadn't been able to make. Like this one, you know, she goes and she pushes Thomas out of the way in a legal way. She used it she was very smart right there. Used her body to push her out, and that created her space to go up and score it. And hey, she's tough on the inside, and she got 9 rebounds already.
She does. She's going to take a breather. Your point's a good one, though. Auburn's had a chance with some shots in the paint, some runners to maybe extend the lead. Instead, it's led to some Arkansas runouts and baskets.
And the Razorbacks have done a good job when they've given up the rebounds. They just kind of wall up. They get big, they get their hands up, And they've not been able to jump up over the Arkansas defenders and put the ball in the basket. You saw that with Kentucky. You saw that with Georgia. They had some players that would get those rebounds, and they would jump over the Arkansas defender to finish it, to finish the offensive rebound stick back. Auburn has not been able to do that thus far.
And now playing without Thompson. We'll see where points might come from. There's a knockdown from Lowry.
Yeah, Lowry made a nice shot. Destiny Slocum kind of played her for the drive, and then as the play developed, she backed away from her a little bit more. And Lowry made a really nice jumper there and contained what she had to do off the dribble and made a nice shot.
Aaron Barnum trying to go to work, and she'll get a chance for a three-point play, drawing the foul from Coulibaly.
Aaron Barnum, sophomore, is really developing her game, and young lady from Little Rock, and comes in off the bench and gives Coach Neighbors good minutes and good action. And eight points a ball game coming off the bench is outstanding. And we've talked about this in previous broadcasts with Aaron. Her free throw looks really good. Doesn't shoot a very good percentage, below 50%. But when you watch these free throws, this will be an and one free throw, so it'll just be one. But it's a nice looking free throw. Just doesn't go in very often. I mean, when you see that, it does not look broke. It looks like a fine shot, and just for whatever reasons, a lot of them go off the back iron for her.
It's an Arkansas team that has not made a free throw in the game. See, for a team
unusual.
that lives at the line.
They eat at the free throw line, but that'll be coming. That was a jab step right there, square back up. Everything looked good for that shot from Patton until it left her hands, and she shoots an air ball. She made a nice jab step, got herself open, but shot the air ball.
Inside a minute here in our first half. Arkansas nearly turned it over again. Dungy trying to drive. She does. She'll get an and one opportunity.
Yeah, when she's going downhill like that, Auburn's got no chance on her. And if you're going to foul her, you need to hit her. You're going to have to hit her. I mean, not trying to hurt, but you got to hit her. You got to hit that arm and hit that ball. You can't give up that type of and one to her, or she'll get going. Next thing you know, she'll have 41 on you. You got to be a little bit more physical, where when you know she's going to get the shot off. And Auburn's done a good job on her in this half, for the most part, but she's capable. She might have a third quarter where she scores 15 in a quarter.
How about this, though? Arkansas with 45 seconds to go in the half with its first made free throw for a team that leads the country in free throw makes.
Yeah, that's an impressive stat, and a team that scores, 86 points a game. They rely on the free throw line a lot. Got several young ladies that can drive it, backdoor cut.
Speaking of backdoor cuts, Scott Grayson missed another one. She had a nice blow by, couldn't drop it in.
Yeah, she's not going to be happy with her half. She has really struggled. She's had a couple of those. She's had some clean looks from the three she hadn't been able to make. And Scott Grayson is 1 out of 8 shooting the basketball, and she is their second best player. If she's struggling like that, they don't have a chance to come in. They can't beat Arkansas. They'll need more from her in the second half.
Shot clock winding down. Dungy a bit off balance. Langerman got her hands on it. It looks like that's a foul on Riley Langerman.
Doesn't hurt, though. She's not going to probably play enough to have 4 or 5 fouls, and it doesn't put them at the free throw line. And so it really wasn't a bad foul. She's trying to get me a steal and see if I can get me a bucket right here.
Arkansas might give up a pretty decent look. That one, though, will not get there. And it brings us to the end of a first half. Auburn had a big lead after 1 quarter. Arkansas regains the lead here in the second. Tigers looking for their first conference win of the season. Halftime at Bud Walton. It's the Razorbacks up by 5 over Auburn. And Arkansas seeing its own defense for one of the few times this year. See, we were wondering if the three-pointers would be falling fast and furious.
Well, the Razorbacks made 4 threes, Brett, but, they're a team that might make 8 or 9 and a half. That was a nice swing through. Right here was Destiny Slocum setting that up, hitting Jalen Mason. Again, this was a bring it around the top, come back to the left, knock it down, and then Jalen makes one again in the corner. And look for the corners to open up. Only one corner three, so look for some more corner threes from them.
Boy, Auburn's been active, though, on the glass.
They have. They've out-rebounded the Razorbacks by 15 rebounds. But it really hasn't mattered, and this is why. Because they have 13 offensive rebounds. That could equal 26 points, but it only equals 10. So 5 out of 13 offensive rebounds were they able to score with it. What Arkansas is doing, they're just walling up, and Auburn kind of brings the ball down a little bit, and they have trouble getting it back up and finishing. So they're dominating the glass, but they have not been able to take advantage of that. And, you know, if you get out-rebounded by 15 and a half and you're up 5 points, you feel pretty good.
Well, you have to, right? In fact, you know, Arkansas in the country is 290th in rebound margin at almost -6 a game. They're -15 here in the first half. But, see, you see that turnover number in Arkansas was 6. That seems like a lot, but 5 of those came right out of the gates.
Yeah, right out of the gates, and then took care of the basketball. Auburn's zone press did not bother the Razorbacks much after the first 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game. Early on, Auburn was getting there, getting some steals. They were forcing some over-the-top passes that they were picking off. And then after they got in a little more of a rhythm, Michaela Daniels, Amber Ramirez, Chelsea handling the ball some more. They had no problems. And, you know, Destiny Slocum is very good against the press as well. And she kind of gave a little calming presence to their press attack, and was pretty good with the basketball against Auburn's aggressive defense. It's going to be an interesting second half. This is not a blowout. This is a 5-point game, and a game of runs, as you see right there.
14-2 runs. Auburn at the end of that first quarter, and then Arkansas in the second.
Auburn plays very hard. Her team's coming out. Pressing team, you don't see very many pressing teams, and you say, you know what, they don't play hard. And this team does play hard. They're aggressive, and they try to make steals. They try to get deflections, and they're rebounding the basketball so well. They just struggle shooting the basketball. And, you know, Coach Flo had talked about that at length with us, and 27% in the first half. You can't come in and beat a 19th ranked Arkansas team that scores so much when you're only shooting 27%.
Need a few of those to fall. Ramirez not bashful from NBA range.
I like coming out of it. Look at her just out hustling right there. Go ahead and save it though. Go ahead and throw it off her legs or try to throw it to a teammate. Good hustle. But hey, one thing about Amber, she comes out. Usually you want to catch it, get in a flow to start the half, or when you come off the bench, Amber Ramirez says, no, sir. I come in, I'm letting it go. I'm open, I'm letting it fly. And it's hard to argue with her. 5 of 10 the other day against UConn.
Rice can't get that to go. Another rebound for Unique Thompson, and she'll put it in. That's Thompson's 10th rebound.
Talked about, would she get to that magic 14 rebounds? And let's see, but she's got a good start here with 10 already.
And nearly a takeaway. Thompson tried to jump the passing lane. We're going to see her this summer in the WNBA. Maybe her and Dungy will have a couple of opportunities to go head-to-head at the pro level.
I hope they both make the WNBA and have great careers. That's a very good league. It's hard to make it. It's hard to stay. It's hard to stay in that league.
Just aren't many teams. And there's Slocum. It's another one with aspirations.
See, she comes across from the wing and she slides up to the top, kind of like they were doing in the first half, and she just took her time a little bit. She poised right there. Destiny can really shoot the basketball, and everyone knows how good offensively she is, and she knocks it down. Good job by Auburn going inside and then kicking it out. Good pass by Unique right there. Teammate just couldn't get it to get in the basket.
Dungy, this is the area I think she's improved upon the most, hitting three-pointers. That one, though, spun out, would not stay down.
Yeah, that was a good look. She was right there. That was a millimeter from being 3 points. Anytime she's shooting, it's a good thing. I mean, when someone that kind of scoring ability is getting shots, see Auburn a little 4 out, 1 in, spreading it out. Now they go 5 out, nobody in. They can try to go off the dribble.
A wild drive, but a basket from Elena Rice, and a chance for 3.
Good offensive play there by Auburn. They come down, they got their post man on the inside, and then it morphs into a 5 out, nobody in. And good job putting the ball on the deck by Rice, going in, getting the foul by Daniel. Little scoop right there, kind roll, and a nice offensive play. That was her most aggressive play so far today.
root for a player like Rice. This kid has had to deal with contact tracing not once but twice this year, being on the shelf. Can't complete the three-point play.
When you're on the road, you're hanging in there against a good scoring team, you got to make your free throws. If Auburn's going to have a chance to win this game, they got to get to the line and they got to make free throws.
That one's poked away. It'll stay Razorback ball. The 11 to shoot.
This officiating crew's done a good job. There's probably 2 missed calls the whole first half. Basketball's a hard game to call, and they did a good job, this crew, so far in this ball game. Usually when you say that, they miss one right off the bat.
Slocum with the triple.
A beautiful shot. She found that one a minute ago. This time she's about 6 feet further towards the bench, and she buries it. She is an outstanding shooter. Great pull-ups, can hit threes. Razorback get the lead up to 7.
Kind of a wild floating shot from Thompson. Arkansas has a chance to make a run. Slocum's pass knocked away.
She looked to throw it back to the middle. She had a baseline drift right there she could have hit in the corner. Right here, see, she slides up, and the zone didn't slide up there with her, and she's wide open.
Seems like Arkansas has done that a lot. It's not much movement, see, it's 6-7 feet, but you find that open pocket for a good look.
Yeah, just slide into that spot. Coach Jeff Daniels, I used to work with for many years, would talk about those slides and drifts and finding the open spot in the zone and sitting there. In a really good zone offense, you get that ball moving, and then you bring it back. You reverse the ball back into the direction you were coming from, and a lot of times you can get an open look when you got a team like Arkansas with Dungy, Slocum, Ramirez, Daniels, Mason that can all bury a three-pointer. It's hard for a zone defense to match up. We talked about Chelsea before the game and all the free throws she shoots. And one game against Auburn, she shot 19 of them. So she's someone that she's got that mindset. She shoots 10 against UConn. Probably the greatest women's basketball player at Arkansas getting to the free throw line that this school's ever had. I know Betty Fiskus was really good, Delmonica DeHorney, Amber Shiree, but none of them got to the free throw line like she does.
Well, Unique Thompson has another double-double. See, that's her 11th this season. 53 times in her career she's had a double-double.
The hats off to her. I mean, it's hard to get a double-double in basketball, and for her to do it so often tells you a lot about her. I love her hands.
I do too.
She's got great hands. And here, she's talking to the officials. She's not getting, maybe a little frustrated, but she's doing the right thing. She's not getting a technical foul. She's just trying to talk, see what can I do, what's going on. It's a good job by her.
There's those hands, though, the ability to rip that thing down.
Great hands. Good example right there. Taylor Thomas is good. Taylor Thomas can jump. She's a good athlete. And Unique just goes up and gets it.
And has the knack of being in the right place at the right time. Another putback basket. That's 12 for Thompson.
Well, is she going to have more points or more rebounds today is the question. Good job keeping that alive by Thomas. Got in there and got dirty with it. It paid off for the Razorbacks. Thomas gets in there, tips that ball around. The Razorbacks get a much-needed offensive rebound. Boom, one quick pass. You get an open look. Daniels buries it.
Her first points of the game for Michaela, averaging 13 a contest. That's a bit of a wild shot. It would not drop from Scott Grayson.
Early ball screen and transition. Arkansas settles into 4-out, 1-in attack. You know she's driving.
Well, Daniels just hit a three. Why not hit another? And another rebound for Thompson.
I like to see Chelsea driving and kicking it out like that. Her career high in a game in assists, what do you think it'd be, 10, 12? She's a great scorer. Remember, her career high is 6 assists in a game. She's a willing passer. She's a super skilled player. And when she kicks it out like that, you're going to be open. You make it, reward your teammate for making that pass, bury the shot.
This one looked good out of her hands. Won't stay down. Auburn still hanging around. They had that big lead in the first quarter. They just need a few shots to fall. I know that's something they probably said all year.
Yeah, they just struggle shooting the basketball, and they don't shoot the ball well from the three. We know that they're 1 for 10 in this one. They came into the game shooting about 25%. About 1 out of 4 goes in for them from the three. And you just got to keep practicing. I'm sure they shoot a lot of threes in practice. I'm sure they put a lot of time in. But so far this season, they've not been able to get into a rhythm shooting the basketball.
Wholesale substitutions by the Tigers.
Barnum's battling with her inside
She
there
sure
with
is.
Thompson. They're kind of battling. Nice entry pass.
Hey, that's like Charles Barkley. Miss your own shot, grab the rebound, put it back in.
Well, Charles Barkley, also an Alabama native, just like Unique is, and he obviously lived on offensive boards. Great job there by her staying at that. And she's got 12 points, 13 rebounds. It's a coin toss which one she's going to have more of in this basketball game.
She's up to 14 points now. There's Slocum on the drive. And Destiny Slocum, a little bit quiet offensively against UConn, 5 points, but she's very capable of huge games.
Yeah, she didn't force it against them, though. She didn't take a ton of shots. She wasn't out there trying to do too much. She saw that Chelsea had it. She saw that Amber Ramirez had it going. She didn't need to do it. And she just facilitated, took care of the basketball, played good defense, and was a good part of that win. This time they went 3 out, 2 in their offense. Razorbacks dig inside. That's a defensive dig. You get a jump ball, stays with Auburn.
Well, Unique Thompson is trying to keep Auburn close. We've seen her ability to go get it. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. Razorbacks, though, up 8. Way back when in our open, we mentioned both Thompson and Dungy, a couple of players we could see at the next level. It's been fun to watch them go head-to-head today. Obviously, Thompson has the rebounds and also the points, but I feel like Dungy has one more big run in her.
Or two. She is such a good player. You know, when she's sitting here with 9 points, if you told me that she ends up with 30, I would not be surprised, and that's not against Auburn. She's done that against so many people. She can get hot. We've talked so much about how she eats at the free throw line. You bury a couple threes, you shoot 8 free throws, you get a couple more layups. Next thing you know, you're sitting at 25 to 30, 32 points, and we've seen her score 41 before. I think she's, the Boston girl's so good at South Carolina, and their team is leading the league. She's probably the front runner for SEC Player of the Year. The young lady from Kentucky has been outstanding.
Fabulous.
She has been so good. She's right up there. But Chelsea Dungy, obviously in the conversation, and hard not to vote for her. Great defense by the Razorbacks, and to turn it back over.
I got a snowball fight going on right here.
Jalen Mason did a good job keeping that play alive with their defense, save, bringing it back. But Hogs at the end of it couldn't come up with it. Auburn's scrappy too. You know, I like how they get after it. I love the fact they're aggressive. Love the fact that they press. There's not a lot of people that press in basketball anymore. Coach Flo is a defensive-minded coach. And, hey, that first quarter, hold Arkansas to 9 points. That was pretty impressive by Auburn.
That's where they wanted to start. Mason with the pull-up. That's now 15 for Thompson. She began the day 67 rebounds shy of a school record. She feels like she wants to get that today, the way she's going at it.
I love how she'll pass it. She caught that off that roll, and she kicked it out to her teammate. She could have gone up with it, and then she comes up with the offensive rebound again. She's an unselfish player. I bet those young ladies at Auburn like playing with her.
You know, you mentioned it earlier. I think it's worth repeating. It's her hands. It's almost like you got the Lester Hayes stick 'em.
Right.
If that ball's in her vicinity, she's going to grab it.
Yeah, Lester Hayes, I think he won number 37 with the Oakland Raiders. He was a great defensive back. You know, she's like Willis Reed. He had those great hands. You know, he's strong with it. Charles Barkley, great hands. And, you know, and she doesn't even, a lot of good rebounders like a Dennis Rodman, they're the kind, they snatch it or they tip it, grab it. She does some tip it, grab. Most of hers is let me jump and grab it with 2 hands, strong with it, and come down. And, boy, you talk about someone that really has a nose for rebounding the basketball. It's easy to talk about. It's harder to do it. It's not like Arkansas doesn't have girls, young ladies that don't want to rebound. They do. They want to rebound it. But for what she does, look at this list here from this conference of these great players.
See, top 3, of course, involved in this game. But it's a year where there are some stars in the women's game in this conference.
Yeah, so many good players. Davis at Tennessee is outstanding. Jones at Texas A&M. Ryan Howard's been so good at Kentucky, what she does. And boy, it's good. But you got 2 Razorbacks on there, 2 South Carolina Gamecocks on there.
Ramirez passed open the three, will try and drive in, and she'll get the basket.
Hey, she makes the move, and then she kind of protected the ball like a running back right there, and then she went up. It looked like maybe the ball slipped out of her hands a little bit, but it still was, she kind of flicks layups anyway. Good job by Amber Ramirez knocking that down.
8-point lead for the Razorbacks. Auburn, though, still maybe one run away from making things awfully interesting, trying to get a few shots to fall.
Auburn's right there. 8-point game. It's just hard to outscore them. That's probably going to be a block on Dungy.
Koulibaly will go to the line.
That was a little bit like the play in the first half where Chelsea couldn't figure out how she wanted to fall. That time was a little bit of a hesitation. Again, I think if she throws her shoulders back and goes backwards, she would get another call, but she looked like she may have been inside a little bit tighter to the basket that time.
Aisha Koulibaly out of Mali. Played at IMG.
Be interesting. She shoots. She's 8 of 18 from the free throw line, and so let's check these free throws out and see what she does with them.
For a team like Auburn right now, shooting 31% in this game, in a team that just doesn't get to the line much when presented opportunities. Clock stop. This is where they need a few knockdowns.
Yeah, that one looked good. Good job, Hurst. Just kind of took her time, went through her free throw routine. See that first one go in, makes it easy. The second one just a little bit easier. As you can see, they only got 3 points at the charity stripe today. Hard to do that when you're shooting 30% from the field.
I would have lost the bet, though, on Auburn shooting more free throws than Arkansas to this point. And again, with the Razorbacks playing against a zone for one of the few times, haven't been there much.
So right here, Ramirez protects the ball like a running back, and see how the ball kind of comes out. And a really nice flick layup by her. Good job, Amber Ramirez. We don't see her attack a whole lot off the dribble, but obviously the McDonald's All-American can do it, and she made a nice play there.
Right now, Dungy on the bench.
I could watch that all day right there. That off-the-dribble action, Destiny Slocum pull-up jump shot. And Slocum is so good at that. One of the best in the SEC, driving it, boom, pull up. It's hard to defend that, and she does a really good job. Here she's kind of playing dig defense again, laying off, containing her man. Arkansas's begging Auburn to shoot jumpers.
3 seconds.
Well, I'm not calling that 3 seconds, and it was probably the right call right there, but she was kicking the ball out. She was about to go relocate. If you want to be technical on the 3 seconds, you got to call it all the time. There's a lot of action in 3 seconds. But this officiating crew has done a very good job today.
Almost a takeaway, and Auburn still trying to get that loose ball. A scoring opportunity if they can get it ahead to Honesty Scott Grayson, and she has 8 with that lay-in.
Yeah, good job, Auburn, in their press again. And, hey, it's a 6-point basketball game. That's 2 possessions. Auburn is fought in this game, and they're battling.
Chance for another lay-in. And a miss.
Great job, Jalen Mason right there. She's got Thompson about to snatch up that rebound. These teams are competing.
My goodness, are they ever. Bodies everywhere.
That's good to watch. Watch them competing, going at it. Jalen Mason, really good defensive effort.
Ball's on the floor. Again, these teams need a timeout. They need a break. These are some tired teams.
They're talking a little bit, and they're talking a little bit. Barnum says, hey, you know what? Hey, Unique has been getting a little bit frustrated, and her and Barnum right there get tied up. No big deal. See right here, a little bit of an arm chuck. They're not.
Watch Amber Ramirez come in here.
Yeah, well, nothing's going to happen, but they're both competitors, and they're both aggressive, and they want to compete. And I'll say this about Unique Thompson. She's going to battle, and she's got in there. She's rebounded the basketball. She plays physical. Really should be nothing here. This meeting should end in about 5 seconds. There was obviously no pushing. There was just a little bit of arm contact, a little hit. And part of that stems from it was an aggressive on both ends plays.
I mean, this has been a sloppy sequence for both teams in the last 3 minutes.
Clean.
Loose balls.
That's clean. That's nothing. Nothing there. You can act like you're going to go do something, but you didn't do anything. Really, it comes from Barnum being on the aggressive.
Yeah, she threw that little shiver.
Yeah, and so really should be nothing on either one of them. Now I'll say this about Auburn. They've come in here, they're 0-7 in the league. and they battled. They came out in the first quarter. They had a game plan. Coach Flo had them very well organized, and they lead 18-9 after the first 10 minutes. But the difference in the game was when they could only get 10 points in the second quarter, as the Razorbacks were racing to 24 points in that corner. That was the whole difference.
Take another look at this.
Here's a little push. They let that go, so that's nothing. Right there, that's nothing. That would be more on Barnum. Barnum showed the frustration, but I would just let it go.
I would agree with you, but after that little push, if you're Barnum, I don't think from the optics you want to jump like you're going after him. I think that's what gets everybody into these review phases at the monitor.
Well, it's unusual, you don't see a lot of go at it like they're gonna, a Todd Day, like I'm gonna go throw a punch, but I'm really not gonna go throw the punch. And so she didn't do anything, but she kind of acted like she was going to, right? She made that 1 second move, but then, Ramirez did a good job getting in there. And really, I don't think there should be anything on Barnum.
I would agree.
There should not be anything on Unique Thompson. And we can just go back to playing basketball. Now, you want to make sure we keep this under control. Hey, Unique's having a great game. We don't want to see her on the bench, right? We don't want to see her over on the bench because she's got fouls or she gets technicals or she gets thrown out. She's had a great game, and she's battled and fought. She's played clean. Unique Thompson is not a dirty player. She's a very clean basketball player. Hey, it's not her fault. She gets over the top of you and snatches two-hand rebounds. And so, Barnum didn't really do anything there other than kind of act like she was going to do something. So play on.
These teams really went through a sluggish 2 or 3 minute stretch. It felt like they needed a media timeout or a dead ball. And when you're a little bit tired and fatigued, the shots don't go in, the balls are kicked around, and then you have maybe some scrapping. These teams have both played hard.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what this is here. Barnum,
tell you what, it's taken way too long to get to this point.
It really has. And Thompson's got one personal foul in case they call something on her, which I didn't see anything for them to call. Aaron Barnum has done only has 2 fouls, so there's not a great impact here. This is a 2-possession game. It's a close game, and it'll be interesting. Obviously, if they're talking this much, they're doing something. But really, from everything we've seen, unless there's words involved, we can't hear the words. There really should be nothing. This should be play on. It's a good game. People being aggressive. Teams wanting to win. Let's play basketball.
Makes me wish we were at the XFL where we could hear what they're talking about, because, again, it feels like this has gone on too long.
Got Bill Mott there at the scores table for the Razorbacks. Been around a long time. Used to run University of Arkansas Recreation and Rec Sports. Been around a long time there. He's also an Alabama native. So they better keep an eye on him today, see what he does. Well, when they're bringing the coaches up, and these coaches have a lot of respect for each other, but both coaches probably think it's a play on. It's obviously not going to be a play on. They're calling something here.
You're right.
So it'll be interesting to see. And hopefully it's not something that gets me and you frustrated because we don't understand it. But a lot of winning.
The upcoming stimulus debates in Congress won't take quite this long.
See, Coach Flo's like,
Auburn, Unique Thompson. And number 4 for Arkansas, Aaron Barnum.
what they call technical on both.
Might have called double.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't call that on both of them. And that would be unfortunate if one of those players had 3 or 4 fouls. And yeah. Oh well, the officials done a good job up till then.
That was lengthy. Here we go. Nearing a minute in our third quarter. And again, Arkansas, even though they were down big in that first quarter, they have not been able to run away from the Tigers.
Oh, and Auburn's done a good job, and they're, they try on defense. Look at that, they're trying on defense. Arkansas may score, but they're trying. They're getting their active, open left side.
Feels like we've seen about 10 shots from both teams kind of rattle in and out in the iron.
Need to check the rims.
Recalibrate those things.
Again, here they're kind of 3 out. Now they pop kind of 4 out. Do a little down screen action on one side, pick and roll on the other, and drive.
Nice drive from Patton. I mentioned she played at Wabash Valley Community College. See, how about this? In 2 years, her team went 63-3. She's used to winning.
That's pretty impressive. See, Wabash is a really good junior college, produced a lot of really good players over the years, good coaches at Wabash. It's a 4-point game, Brett, and it doesn't have the feel of that, does it? But it is a 4-point game. Good job by the young sophomore from Springdale, Arkansas, putting the ball on the deck. Let me drive it. Now go to the free throw line, make your free throws. And it's going to be an interesting fourth quarter.
Marquisha Davis had a big game defensively against UConn, especially in the second half against Paige Beckers. Gets her third point this afternoon.
She did a lot of good things against UConn. Paige Beckers is a good young lady from Minnesota. I think she had 27 on the Razorbacks. She looks like she's 16 years old. Got a young face, and she's got a deadly game, though. She can play the game of basketball.
Auburn, one final look here in this third quarter.
Yeah, you want to make sure they take the last shot. If they could draw a foul, they'd get to the free throw line.
Driving, twisting, shooting, not scoring from Patton, and that'll bring us to the end of our third quarter. Arkansas led by 5 at the break. They've upped it to 6 after 3. Don't go anywhere. The fourth quarter coming up next. On we go to the fourth quarter here at Club Bud Walton with the lights operating inside the arena. Here's the net rankings, and of course the SEC extremely well represented, even in the top 25. Arkansas comes in at number 24. So this year in the women's game, they're using the net to determine the seeds for the NCAA tournament. The question is, what does this mean for the conference once we get to that point? Knock on wood, see and what it looks like for the NCAA tournament.
It's a complex system. The NCAA evaluation tool, Razorbacks 6th best among SEC teams in the net, hopefully moving up as they continue to get wins.
There's you see what it would look like today. According to Charlie Cream, Arkansas would be a 6th seed, and a lot of SEC teams did that again.
And Arkansas's got a chance if they get on a winning streak to move up and improve that. Tennessee a little bit high there at 4, seems like. Look at Georgia is a 3 seed. Texas A&M thought maybe could give a chance to be a 2 seed. So much can still happen. And then you got other teams just trying to stay in that NCAA tournament hunt, and a lot to be determined. Last day of January, a lot of basketball left.
And I won't say it doesn't mean as much, but in normal years, a top 4 seed, you'd be hosting first couple of games for a regional. Everything should be in San Antonio this year, and there's Scott Grayson with a big hit to start the fourth quarter.
Really good play to start the fourth quarter. She goes right off the dribble, a little screen action, beautiful shot, and nails it.
Amber Ramirez passed up the open 3 for a more contested one, but knocked it in.
That'll make you a good coach right there. Just catch it, boom, little sidestep. And, you look at Auburn, they're 1 for 11 from the 3. They just can't get one to go. And Arkansas, boom, boom, couple passes, drill one. That's just a team so talented in shooting the basketball.
There's a blocking foul on Slocum. Let's go back to this three-pointer.
Swing around, see she's going to catch the ball right here. Boop. Go one dribbles off to the left, a little sidestep action. Auburn's got to close out maybe a little bit better. Break down, get in a stance and get in her. You got to tell Ramirez, we're going to make you dribble it. And they kind of flew out there towards her. She was like, okay, I've seen people fly out at me since I was probably in the 7th or 8th grade. I know how to sidestep this, square her shoulders up, and she is a great, not a good, but a great three-point shooter.
Elena Rice to the free throw line. Transfer out of Florida A&M. Trying to knock down a pair, and she will.
5-point game, and Unique is still out of the ball game for Auburn. Trying to get her some minutes. I think she'll be back in pretty quick.
Dungy has yet to reach double figures. Remember, she's been above 20 in every conference game this year. And she'll draw the foul.
See, that's a little tight, not much there, just play on right there. There's no one whacked her. There wasn't a whole lot of action on that. She did a good job probing and penetrating. Just let that go.
Her performance against UConn when she hit 37. Mike Neighbors had a great quote. He said, there are performances and there are performers. And I thought Dungy was one of both. I think she was a performer with a performance against UConn.
See, now they're really calling it tight, and it's the same official over there that's called both of those. And if he calls it that tight, you could call that every single time. But then you got to call it both ways. And so, you know, let the game of basketball flow. You can't call it that tight. And if you're going to do that on both ends, there's going to be 20 fouls in the fourth quarter.
That'd be a lot of free throws.
Yeah. Every time someone bounces off someone, it's not a foul.
Another corner three ball for Amber Ramirez. She's approaching 50 made threes on the season.
Yeah, beautiful drive right there. And there's Chelsea drawing so much attention and then making a good pass. Auburn's really going to have to get Thompson back in the game, you know, really sooner than later, or this it was a 5-point lead. Now it's 8. It's about to be 10 or 11 or 12. You can't do that. You're going to have coach going to have to get her back in unless she's hurt or something.
Rebound to Koulibaly.
This is the fourth quarter. You know, this is winning time.
You see the triple overtime game between Western Kentucky and Charlotte in the women's game. Down 2, a three-pointer at the buzzer to win 199 yesterday.
That is awesome, 199. Really good left hand right there from Patton. She has had a pretty good bat. She's only 3 for 12, but she's competed in this ball game. She's been aggressive. She's had a couple defensive breakdowns, but she tries to do everything she can defensively, and that was a really nice play. Now she's 4 of 13 from the field.
This game has lived in that 5 or 6 point margin for the better part of this second half, and Thomas draws a foul.
Yeah. Right there's a little bit of a defensive breakdown by Auburn. Again, we was talking about closeouts, and when you press and trap, and I was a part of a staff that we did a lot of pressing over the years. You know, closeouts and breakdowns are really important because you're flying at so many people. You're just hustling. You're flying around. There's times when you close out on somebody, I mean, you got to be able to break down in a stance and keep them from driving around. If you get loose with it, right there, the young lady from Israel got turned. She was doing a circle as Thomas was driving left around her. And so I wish we could see that again, and you'll see that, you know, how important footwork and shoulders and getting solid in a stance are critical to play any kind of defense.
1 of 2 for Thomas, and Unique Thompson back in the game. Michaela Daniels late on that defensive effort, committed the foul.
Yeah, there was a down screen right there, almost a curl action by Auburn, coming real tight off of Thompson's shoulder. They did a good job, and the passer did a really good job. There you put pressure on the ball. They can't make that feed inside. She did a good job in drawing a foul.
Thompson flashes in, triple team, forced that shot up and can't hit.
That's smart triple team because there's nobody else really hurting you right now. When Thompson gets it, collapse on her, make someone else from Auburn make a play.
Dungy just lowering her head, trying to get the first down with a 3-yard carry, and there's a whistle.
Yeah, the same official, she's drawn 3 fouls on him, and he is he's rewarding her quite a bit for the drives, and he's called 3 for Dungy's way. He likes her game, and he likes what she does because he's helping her. And that was a good call. That was contact on that one.
And now Dungy in double figures. That gives her 12 this afternoon.
Defensive breakdown. You got to stay on her. You can't lose her in that inbounds play. She slides up. When her feet are set like that, she's such a great shooter. She's going to bury it. Look for a big fourth quarter out of Chelsea.
Slocum went over the back of Thompson, able to tip the rebound to her teammate. So Arkansas with possession. Now a 10-point game.
And she's drawn 4 fouls in this quarter. Again, a good call. She just knows how to get between herself, the basketball, and the defender. Nobody in college basketball. Boston's really good at drawing fouls, but this is the best one. And look at the fouls. She's drawn 4 of those, maybe 5, but I think 4 that I can remember in this quarter. Auburn's fouled 5 times. They're just fouling her, fouling her, fouling her. You got to tell you, we're not going to foul her. we're going to play her straight up. When she beats you off the dribble, we're going to get other people in there and make her pass it. Let's try to cut her off. But if you're fouling her and fouling her and fouling her, you don't have a chance.
Well, tonight, 7 Eastern, 6 Central on the SEC Network, another edition of True South with John T. Edge. He'll be in Phoenix City, Alabama, eating half weenies. He's going to have jerk chicken. You're going to check it out. True South presented by Yellowwood.
Nice shot. And right there, Jalen Mason decided I'm going to stay back off of her a little bit. They're 1 for 11 from the 3, so they're like, shoot it. And she did a good job squaring up and knocking that shot down from right in front of Auburn's bench. Much needed 3 for Auburn. Still zoning.
Arkansas enjoyed its largest lead of the game before that hit.
Yeah, look where Dungy was. She snuck along the baseline. There was a whistle right as she was getting there. She would have been wide open down there, and none of the back forwards. So again, there's another foul on Auburn.
At the line, shooting 2 shots, Michaela Daniels.
It's just hard to play good defense against such an offensive-minded strength of this team, and it's hard. Even in a zone defense, it's hard to guard, and that's why the fouls are marking up here on Auburn, and they've got 6 fouls in this quarter alone. And Arkansas don't miss very many free throws. 16 fouls against Arkansas, and now 14 fouls against Auburn. 30 fouls so far in this basketball game. We got 6 minutes left.
And this is where a team like Arkansas can extend that lead if they can get a couple of stops, hit some free throws. Ramirez tried to take a charge, but a miss from the Tigers. Auburn's last win was December 17th against North Florida. Now they had a couple of games canceled, others were postponed. But this is a team that they just want to enjoy what it feels like to win a game, but they're going to need a comeback now in the 4th quarter.
And right there you get a defensive stop, and they did a good job coming up with a defensive rebound. None of her teammates were able to yell at her and tell her that Michaela Daniels was coming up behind. That bad turnover there, but you're trying to claw back in it, and it cost you 3 points. Great teams make you pay. Alabama football, when you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay. Arkansas's got a great basketball team. They got an 11-point lead. You get a defensive rebound, they make a defensive play. You blink, Amber Ramirez drills a 3. Now you're down 14, and it's almost ball game. And they make you pay when you provide that opening.
And back-to-back games for Ramirez, hitting 5 3-pointers. How about that rebound from Thompson? Yeah. But she put it on the deck, and it was taken away, and it's a tie ball. Arkansas ball.
The double technical really helped Arkansas.
It did.
Because Unique, for whatever, she's not been out of the game, then she goes out, and she's not been the same factor. The advantage in that double technical to the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Two games ago, Amber Ramirez had 2 points against Georgia. But see, these last 2 home games, the 3-pointers are falling.
It sure is. You know, she gets set, and she really can shoot the basketball. She can go 1 or 2 dribbles and set up and shoot. She's shown a little bit driving to the basket. You know, she catches the ball, pops it under her chin a little bit. First time I saw her doing that in the basketball performance facility, I said that's a little bit unique to way to shoot. But I knew she was an All-American in high school, and when she gets her feet set, count it. She has had a little bit of struggles in a couple games this year, and has had some games where she hadn't done what she knows that she can do and what she's capable of doing, but she lit it up against UConn, and she's lit it up before in big games. This team can't win the regular season now. South Carolina's not going to lose 5, and there's, I think, 9 teams going in today that were ahead of Arkansas in the standings. But Arkansas' schedule is a little bit more favorable. You're going to look up in 2 weeks, and now instead of 9 teams being ahead of them, there's going to be 7, and then there's going to be 5, and then there's going to be 4. And I think when it's said and done, they're going to be in that top, hopefully in the top 4 for Arkansas, and they're going to be hard to beat in the SEC tournament.
I won't disagree, and Ramirez was trying to make the team's 12th 3-pointer of the game, but a miss from the corner.
Thompson's been a non-factor since the double technicals. I think her stats since then have been 1 offensive rebound that she couldn't score. See if she can do something here down the stretch.
How about Levy? That was a nice catch and flip and score.
Yeah, Levy started off the game early, but since then she hadn't been able to get him to go in. She's 3 of 9 from the field. I mean, this is a team that's shooting 30% so far in this game. They got to get hot right here to have a chance. There's still a chance. You're down 12 with 4 minutes to play, but you can't leave people wide open. Look for Dungy to be driving it. Towards the end of games, she loves to chomp up defenders by attacking off the bounce.
There's a new stat in the last couple of years called FD, fouls drawn. She had 10 fouls drawn against UConn.
Yeah, so she's just unbelievable. As good as anybody in the country. Boston's that way too. For South Carolina, they just have a knack for drawing fouls, and she's better than Boston at it because guards sometimes will get that call. Boston gets hit a little bit more.
She initiates it.
She initiates it, and they call it on them, and she's crafty. She is a crafty scorer, and just knows how to play the game. You know, young lady grew up in youth basketball and in high school basketball in the state of Oklahoma. Always a state that's had good girls and women's basketball. Jim Stacy over at Tulsa Union used to always teach me about Oklahoma basketball.
Well, Thompson's been harassed. She was trying to pick up an assist, and Amber Ramirez picked up her third.
One of the great Razorback men of all times is from the state of Oklahoma, Lee Mayberry. I think probably the third greatest Arkansas Razorback of all time on the men's side. Great player. He's got 5 daughters. 4 of them have played Division I. The only reason the 5th one hadn't is because she's like in the 5th grade, and she's coming. So he's going to have 5 daughters, and all 5 play Division I college basketball.
He could take those 529s and those college funds and just cash those babies out. He hasn't needed it.
He's needed them to be on scholarship because he is tight. I've known Lee since he was a freshman in college, a great All-American and a 9-year NBA veteran for the Milwaukee Bucks and the old Vancouver Grizzlies. Do you remember them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the Memphis Grizzlies. 10-point ball game here. Auburn really going to have to press hard. 3:16 to go. Odd front press now.
After a couple of free throw makes from Honesty, Scott Grayson.
So that's a little 1-2-2 now. He morphed back into their kind of a 2-3 zone. See how they're trying to match up.
Mason from that elbow.
I mean, perfect execution of a zone offense. 4 or 5 passes, then it goes corner to the high post, and then the key to any zone offense has been able to hit the shot that is open, and they hit it. They got right there at that elbow area. Jalen Mason has had a great game today off the bench for the Razorbacks.
And this after being forced to sit out against UConn with some teammates, maybe some false positive tests, but regardless, they're back, they're in uniform.
I mean, she's 3 of 5, 2 for 3 from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. That's 8 points. She's played good defense. We talked about her keeping the ball alive, saving the ball from going out of bounds. She doesn't have a turnover today. And right on cue, she's supposed to make that 3.
Yes, she is. For television purposes, that's where you need to make a shot.
Coach Neighbors was the 6th player on the floor right there, and he got the timeout in the corner. The young guard from Greenwood, Arkansas, with a heady play. Hogs up 12.
It has been a struggle for Auburn just to have a full roster of players, and now they've come out of that dark COVID tunnel. They emerge on the other side, and see, this is what is ahead for their schedule. My goodness.
Well, that's tough. Obviously, South Carolina, one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country, compete. I think South Carolina would have won the national championship in 2020 if there would have been one. And then, Missouri coach Robin Pinchton brings her team down to the Plains, and but there's some games they will compete hard and they will fight to win. And coach is doing a good job. She's coach. I love how she's coaching. She's teaching. She's engaged with her team on the bench. Her kids act right. They do things right. They play hard. I love that they press and they're aggressive. Let me tell you something about Coach Flo. She's been to 18 NCAA tournaments. I always like to brag I've been to 12. She's been to 18 of them. And she went to 3 as a player. You know where she played at, Brett? Penn State, and was a good player there. She's been to 9 NCAA tournaments as an assistant, and she's been to 6 NCAA tournaments as a head coach. Coach Flo, 18 NCAA tournaments.
Big number.
Big number. The timeout by Coach Neighbors there. A little bit of issues. Good job by Auburn getting out and denying and being aggressive there on the defense. Coach Neighbors is talking pretty good under that mask. We're not sure if he's talking to his team or to the officials. I think to his team.
Well, you never know, right? And it could be to any comer.
Yeah.
But for Arkansas, Matt, you know that they have played a tremendously difficult schedule. I won't say it gets any easier, but it does let up just a bit in the sense that there are a chance to pick up some wins.
He's saying the ball should be being thrown in over there on the sideline underneath that hoop. I think Coach likes to run those sideline plays better. That is not an easy schedule. Going to Missouri, play the Tigers, and then you got Mississippi State, got a new coach. And, they're kind of trying to hang in there as a team. They've been, had some good wins at Mississippi State this year. There she is driving.
A lot of contact, no whistle.
Yeah, good job by the official on the baseline. The defender walled up. A lot of officials would have called that, but normally she'll make that 3. She comes off that screen, powders her steps a little bit. She can knock it down, shoots an air ball.
All right, see, if you're Auburn, this is not a three-point shooting team. Is this where you're starting to launch and hoping you can get a couple of makes?
Obviously, yeah, you got to, or at least drive it hard. You can't take all day, but you can't turn the ball over. Can't turn the ball over. You got one of the best players in the country, one-on-one against a forward. And really no match right there. I probably would have fouled her, though, make her go to the free throw line instead of just giving her that layup. But Auburn got to get shots at the basket. Unique hadn't scored since the little brush up inside, and I think's got one rebound or so. They have really done a good job on her. Maybe she got a little frustrated. She was out for a little bit. Gets out in the passing lanes right there. A bad pass from the wing back to the top. See right there, 22. You got to hustle back. You got to be the one scraping that ball out of her hands and seeing if you can knock it off her leg. But everyone's got to sprint back off of a turnover and try not to give up a layup, make them earn it at the free throw line.
That was a scouting report breaker because she went to the right side with her right hand rather than going to the left side, which was open as Rice is at the line.
I think she likes using that left hand more in that half-court hard drives. When she's going fast in a full-court action, it seems like her tendency a little bit more is to get back to the right side. And it's harder to provide that left-handed scoop that she does in a full-court situation. Does that make sense? And so she said, let me turn this defender a little bit. Let me go to my right hand. I got an easy layup. Here's Arkansas spread out, 4 out, one inside the post there. Thomas, and she's going to come up and ball screen. Now everybody's got to read and react off that ball screen.
Arkansas came in losing 4 of their last 5 conference games, trying to get a win today. It has not been easy.
No, Auburn's made them work, and this has been kind of Auburn's MO. They've hung around in these ball games, but they just haven't had enough. Today they will leave with good effort. They'll leave with, 49-30, almost 20 rebound advantage. They're going to leave with a lot of positive, but the negatives has still been the shooting. They don't shoot it well from the 3. They shot 65 times in this ball game, 32%. Compare that to the Razorbacks, who only shot 58 times, but they don't get any points hardly. They did better today at the free throw line, getting to the line. They shot 17 of 19, 90%. That is outstanding. But at the end of the day, it was all those missed shots too much for them to overcome against the number 19th ranked team in the country.
Yeah, 65 shots is a lot. We thought they might get to 70, and I suppose they still could, but you're right. They got a lot more free throw opportunities today, but when you don't make many threes, and they've made 2 today, then you can't afford to shoot 30%. You've got to be able to knock those in.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure coaches, I know they spend a lot of time shooting jump shots and threes in practice. You know, all teams do, and they just need a little confidence, and I'm sure coach is trying to build that in them. But you know, when players don't see the ball go in very much, it's hard to believe that I can make this difficult three. And Arkansas has kind of begged them to shoot threes, especially from about middle of the first quarter on. You can really see Arkansas's guards backing away from the quick Auburn guards and making them shoot three-pointers like Scott Grayson, 1 for 5. And so it's
you know, we've talked a lot about them being shorthanded and getting players back and then immediately playing where they haven't practiced for 2 weeks. When you get this deep into a physical game, those legs start to go, and when your legs go, it's hard to have a good-looking jump shot.
It's hard to shoot it well when you're a little bit tired. You know, Arkansas is not a pressing team. They're going to drop back. They're going to play containment, good, solid, fundamental defense. And so they're trying hard on defense, but Auburn's flying around, pressing and trapping, and sometimes it makes it difficult to shoot. Here they finally get it back inside. First time she's got it right up under the basket like that in a long time. Credit the Razorbacks' improved interior defense for that.
Inside a minute here in our fourth.
I love this effort on defense. He's hustling. You know, he loves to call. and he is that Brian Garland? And he is, you know, they're calling it a little bit tight. And for the pressing team, you can't have it called, you know, quite as tight. You want it to be where you can kind of body up a little bit, get into them a little bit, and be a little bit more aggressive with them. And good call. There was definitely contact, but at that point, hey, you got to let them play a little bit so there's a rhythm to the basketball game.
He likes the socially distanced defense where you got that 6 feet, and you don't want you too close.
Well, it's a 40-minute game, and this has not been would you say this has been a physical game? I don't think. I mean, they've competed hard. It's not been the most physical game, but it's some physical. But there's been 36, 37 fouls called in this ball game. That's a lot of fouls.
Arkansas enjoying its largest lead of the game, and Taylor Thomas whistled for another.
See, that time it was the trail official in the back of the play that came up, and it was, you know, may have been a good call. The official right there on the baseline said, I'm going to let that go, and then the trail official comes up and makes the call. But driving will help you. You drive, you're going to get rewarded. And there's good officials. SEC's got good officials. It is not easy to officiate any college basketball game.
Tell you what, I would not have wanted to officiate that UConn-Arkansas game the other day because it felt like a Final Four type intensity effort where every single call is so important to the outcome.
It really was. It was intense, and the Razorbacks drew so many fouls in that game on UConn. UConn, it was the most fouls they had in a game in 5 or 6 or 7 years. And you're right, it had an NCAA tournament feel. This is a team at Arkansas. Now they got a defender up on the ball in their full court press, and they're really getting after it. Almost looks like a diamond right here, and they're trying to trap, being aggressive. I love their attitude from the tip-off all the way through. Auburn hadn't sulked. They've not relaxed. They've played hard throughout the basketball game. Credit to them and everything they've been through. They're still out here competing, and good job by Auburn hanging in this ball game.
Razorbacks about to get their 13th win, their 3rd in conference play. A top 20 team with 6 losses. It looked a little bit unusual. Now they're in that area where they're going to try and pick up a few W's as Patton reaches double figures, and that should just about do it. And it will. 77-67. Razorback wins it.
Good game. Both teams competed hard. Thought it was a game where both teams wanted to win. Both teams fought. And a really, really good game here in Bud Walton Arena today.
That's going to do it. From Fayetteville, Arkansas, for Matt Zimmerman and our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan, thanking you for watching. Once again, the Razorbacks come out victorious today, taking down Auburn 77-67. So long and good afternoon from Northwest Arkansas.